How's it going, Rogues Gallery, and welcome to another Gundam card game video here on Red Zone Rogue. Today, I finally got my latest Gundam card game starter decks. We have Celestial Drive and Flash of Radiance, and instead of just opening these up and kind of giving you my thoughts on them, in fact, I already did a full review of these starter decks in this video here. I will have a link in the description down below if you'd like to hear my full thoughts on these decks and how good they are and all that kind of stuff. We go card by card. Check that out. Today, instead, we're gonna do what I would consider to be one of the best things that you could do as a brand new player to the Gundam card game. We're gonna open up 2 of each of these starter decks and build a deck from those cards. We're gonna have a ton of deck building tips for brand new Gundam card game players, including general like pilot, unit, command, base ratios, and just give you my thought process and all of that, as well as just building the best deck that we can out of these 2 starter decks. Well, we have 2 boxes of each of these. Spoilers, this deck is very, very good. And in fact, one of my recommendations right now for starting the Gundam card game, pick up 2 of the Celestial Drive starter decks and smash them together. And once again, we're going to kind of go over all of that. And you're going to have a very good starter deck. In fact, I think the Celestial being the CB archetype is going to end up being one of the best ones in the card game. So before we get started, I want to give a huge shout out to our Gundam card game sponsor, Fantastic Realms. They are the lovely folks who hooked me up with these starter decks. Check them out in the description down below as well. They're awesome, great supporters of the channel, and a great LGS. So without further ado, let's go ahead and go into our top down, open these up, and build a deck out of each of these, well, starter decks. Let's do it. All right, so here we have our Celestial Drive and Flash of Radiant decks, and then the second copies of these. You don't need the second copy, but if you want to fully optimize your deck, then you'll likely want 2 copies because each of these will come with 2 LRs of each LR, and you want 4 of each. So that's essentially why you want these. And there's some other cards that don't come in full playsets that you'll probably want 2 copies. So let's go ahead and we'll open up this one first. Oh, I wanted to also mention I got some sleeves as well. Dragon Shield sleeves, sponsor of the channel. I do have an affiliate link down below for Dragon Shield, 5% off your order if you type Rogue 5. These are their new Sky Blue and Silver and Nebula and Silver sleeves, and I think they're going to go really well with these. And I did a whole video on these brand new sleeves yesterday, so check that out if you want to hear my full thoughts on these and a bunch of other different colors. But yeah, I'm a huge fan of Dragon Shield, and I have been for a long time, and I'm happy that they're a sponsor of the channel. So we're going to do the blue ones for the blue deck, and then purple for the purple deck, even though it's purple and, purple and green. So let's open this up first. So what we'll do is we're going to open these up first, and then we'll build the decks, right? So if you're brand new to the Gundam card game, once again, I think this is a fantastic way to start. These starter decks are currently selling for $15 to $25 is what I've seen on TCG Player. You can usually get them for cheaper if you don't want the little promo pack, the little foil pack inside. Because people kind of chase those little foil packs and, try to get the big hits from them. What these are they're just a random foil card, one of 16 types from our deck here. So, yeah, we'll go ahead and set this aside. Oh, we also have like a how to play guide and all that kind of good stuff here to teach you how to play the Gundam card game if you don't know how to play. There's also a mobile app that can teach you how to play. I'd recommend the mobile app. But yeah, so here we have the deck itself. Take off the little pull tab. And then here we have the deck. So we have our resources. Then we have our LRs. So we have the Gundam Exia LR. And as you can see, we have 2 of these. We'll likely want to run all 4. So 2 from here and 2 from the other deck. We have our Gundam Dynamis, same kind of deal. We'll probably want to run 4 of these. And then the rest of the deck. So we have this Gundam Exia out of 4 of, this Virtue out of 4 of. We're probably going to be removing a lot of these ones that really don't have any effects or aren't efficiently costed. We'll talk about that when the time comes. We have Gundam Virtue, another Dynamis out of 4 of, a 3 of Kyrios, 3 of Kyrios flight mode, or 4 of Kyrios flight mode. Then we have the pilots. What's interesting about this particular deck is we have 3 of each of the main pilots from Gundam 00, all of the Gundam Meisters. once again, a playset in the Gundam card game is 4, so you technically don't get a full playset of these. We just get 3. So we have Setsuna, which is, we're going to want to run 4 of him. We have Tyria Erd. We have Lockon Stratos, also known as Neil. And then we have Alleluia Hallelujah. We're probably going to run a 4 of Lock-On as well. We also have Armed Intervention, nice little card from this deck. Tactical Visionary, we get 4 of these. This is a fantastic card draw for the deck. We also have the Ptolemos, which is our base. And then we have Fatal Strike, which is a really nice reprint removal card. We'll probably want to run more than 2 of these for our deck. And then we have our EX base, our resources, and little punch-out thing. So I'm just going to kind of like set this here. We'll open up the next one really quickly, just to see if there's a God deck inside. A God deck is a deck that is all foil. It's extremely rare. I've personally never opened up one, but I know that they exist, and I know some people get them. One of the reasons why these are so expensive sometimes is that people are just trying to chase the God decks. And it's also one of the reasons why you can sometimes find just the, people call them bricks, just the decks with nothing else, for a lot cheaper, because some people will try to, you know, chase the God decks. So let's go ahead and take this out. No God deck, you can tell by the no foils. So yeah, we'll just set this in the back like that. And stack this on top, and we'll make 1 deck out of this. And then we have our 2 little foil promo packs. So let's open these up now. Why not? Why not? And then we're going to do the same thing for the other one. Ooh, Gundam Curios Flight Mode. Man, the foiling and texturing in the Gundam card game always looks so, so good. We're hoping for the LR or one of the pilots. Specifically, Setsuna. Oh, okay. All right. I mean, this is a pretty good one. It's just a common, but I think this one's all, well, I'm not sure. This one's a Curios one. This is Alleluia Hallelujah, which is not great, but it looks really nice. It looks really nice. I do think it's funny that we got 2 Curioses, though. We got the flight mode and like the not flight mode. So that's kind of funny. All right, so let's go ahead and open up the Flash of Radiance decks, and then we'll do some deck building. This one is a little bit more of an interesting deck than the Celestial Drive. If you didn't watch my full video reviewing these and going over them, the TLDR is that this deck, the Flash of Radiance deck, I think is pretty good to strip for parts for use in other decks. It has 2 very prominent themes in the deck, and they don't really gel all that well together, whereas the Celestial Being deck, Celestial Drive deck, does. It functions very well together. So let's go ahead and take off the little thing here. And this one, we could also get a God deck for here. So here we have the resources, and then for the actual cards, we have the Xi Gundam, it's KSI, I don't know how to pronounce it. It's like Xi Gundam. We have the Penelope, which is actually a really nice card. This one's going to be used in a lot of blue decks. We have Siege Ploy, another Xi Gundam. This is pretty cool. It does a 1 damage to a unit when you deploy it. We have Messer Type F Naked Commander type. We have 3 of these. We have Messer Type FO1. I think it's a pretty good card, actually, for the Mafty deck. This deck basically combines Earth Federation and Mafty stuff. We have the Messer Type FO2 Mine Layer. This is a really nice one that a lot of red decks will want, just in general, because it is a 4/3, level 3, 2 cost, which is really good. People call these Rezel likes because of the card Rezel, which is the same thing but blue. We have Penelope, 4 of these ones. Gustav Karl Type 00. This is one of my favorite cards from this. It's a level 3, 3 cost 3/4, which is great stat lines. And if the enemy has 3 or more units in play, this one also gets blocker. I think it's a really, really nice and efficient card, and I'm probably going to put this in a bunch of my decks, so I'm happy to get those. We have Jegan Ground Type A. I think this card is not good. We also have Hathaway Noah. We also have Lane Aim. This is actually a great pilot. I think Hathaway is good if you are doing the Mafty, but Lane Aim is pretty good in a lot of different decks. A lot of different like decks that care about like drawing cards. We have Words for Hathaway. Look at the art. Ah! We have Lady Luck. I think this card is not good, but is very beautiful. We have the Valiant, which is our one of our bases, and then we have the Devow, which is the other one of our bases. You only get 2 Devow. I think the Devow is a really good base, actually, and this is one that I would want to run more than 2 copies of in a couple different decks. So once again, I think this deck in particular is good for parts, right? There's a lot of like good blue cards in this deck, like the Gustav Karl, the Devow, and of course the LR Penelope. So yeah, let's go ahead and open up the other one. If you'd like my opinion, once again, like should you get? What's the best one? Well, you should just get whatever one that you like. But if you want like the most competitive one, it's definitely the Celestial Drive deck. Like, and I don't think it's particularly close. I think the Celestial Drive deck is significantly better than this one, like right out of the box. So there is that. But like I said, don't get it twisted. I think this deck still has some great stuff in it that you can use for other decks. Take that off. No God deck, but cool cards. And I do like the Sea Gundam. I think it's just a little bit more situational than something like the Penelope. This deck will be the hardest one to actually make into like a good competent deck. We have, oh, very nice foil Gustav Karl. This is what I want. Oh, and the foiling's really, really good. I really like this card a lot, so I'm really happy with that one. Come on, foil Penelope, or at least alternate art. Oh, we did get an LR. Oh, let's go. What did we get? Is it the Penelope? It is the Penelope. Oh, it's so good. Okay, so you know what? Let me show you this. So, if you get, if the bonus card you get is an LR, it has a little bit of a different treatment than normal. So you can see here is the regular Penelope, and here is the LR Penelope. Very nice. Well, that was extremely lucky. And then of course the Gustav Karl. We didn't do the comparison with the other ones. You can see here's like the regular version, and then here's like the foil version, which is all textured. And so how I'm gonna do this is it's already more or less sorted the way I would sort it, but we're still gonna sort it down. So take out all of the tokens and the resources, and what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna sort these by types. So you can see on the side it says unit. I'm gonna take all the unit cards, I'm gonna put them in a pile, take all the pilot cards, put them in a pile, then we have the command cards, and then our base. So the first thing we're gonna do is, well, with 2 starter decks, I should probably just do the same thing. So I think what I'll do is same deal, put all the units together, put all the pilots together, all the commands, the base, and the commands. Okay, now we can start building our deck. So generally speaking, in the Gundam card game, you want, I would say, anywhere between 8 and at the top end 12 pilots. 12 pilots is a lot, but if you have the pilots that double as commands, then I think it gives you a little bit more flexibility. None of these pilots double as commands. These are all just regular straight up pilots. And so I think we're gonna probably shoot for 8 to 10 pilots with this deck. And what you want to do is you want to play the pilots that best synergize with your best cards. And for this deck, it's going to be Setsuna, Mr. I Am Gundam himself, and the Exia, which is one of our LRs. Very, very nice. And then Lock-On, who is another one of the pilots that works with the other LR, which is very, very strong. So for this, we're probably going to want to run 4 Setsuna, so that 4 of him, and then 4 Lock-On. And so that's where we're going to start. You can only run 4 of any card as the maximum amount, and then we'll kind of determine which ones of these we're going to want to run extra. We have Tyria Aird, which says on destroy if it's our opponent's turn, and this is a CB unit. We get a draw card. I don't really like this card all that much. And then we also have Hallelujah Hallelujah. During our turn, we have a CB Link unit in play. This unit can't receive battle damage from enemy units 3 or less HP. That's pretty good for killing smaller stuff. So we might want to go for Alleluia, but we'll have to see what cards we have in the deck that they work really, really well with. So we're going to start off with these, our pilots here. For the base, you can run only 4 of any given card in the deck. For the base, we're just going to run the full 4 of the Ptolemos. This is a really good base, and it's a low to the ground base. Generally speaking, when you're building a deck for the Gundam card game, I would recommend anywhere between 3 to 6 bases. You really don't want to run more than that, because these can kind of get clogged in your hand. But this is a really nice one, and makes it so that your opponent has to attack your CB stuff instead of your base or your shield, which is really nice. So yeah, we're gonna put a 4 of that. Before we start talking about the mobile suits, we're gonna go through the commands. The commands are a little bit trickier. Some decks run maybe 4 to 12 commands. It's difficult to say. For this deck in particular, Tactical Visionary is extremely good. It's a nice 1-drop card draw, and we're going to run a full 4 of that. For Fatal Strike, we're probably just going to start by running 4 of these and see how much space we have left in the deck. It's just a really nice removal that can destroy enemy units that are level 3 or lower, and also has a nice burst. Typically in like a fully constructed deck, you probably run like 2 to 3 of these. But for this one, since we don't have a lot of options, I think full 4. And then Armed Intervention, I think, is fine. And I think we'll probably just run that at a 2 of. So here we have 10 commands. And I think 10 commands is fine here. All right, so let's go ahead and take a look at the rest of the deck and all the units. These are like the most important parts here. And so when I sort my Gundam decks, I always like to sort in batches. So we have pilots, commands, and then bases. So let's go ahead and set these over here. For these, I'm just going to sort these out in their respective piles. Some of these cards will definitely get cut from the deck, and some of them will bump them up to their full versions, right? Fortunately, we don't have a ton of options here, so there's not a lot of decision paralysis when it comes to this. Ideally, we don't want too many high-level cards, because they can kind of just get stuck in our hand and just, not do anything as we're getting beat down by our opponent. But we'll start with our most exciting cards. We have the Gundam Exia. This is a fantastic card, and we'll see competitive play. We're going to run the full 4 of in the deck. Same with the Kyrios. I think the Dynamis, I'm sorry. The LR Dynamis is also extremely good. We're running both of their pilots, and yeah, so that's good. So that's a nice way to start. We'll start with these 2. These are definitely getting in. Then we have, let's go with the low cost cards. So we only have 1 level 2 card, and that's the Kyrios Flight Mode. It's a 3/1 and links with Alleluia Hallelujah. 1 health is really tough in the Gundam card game because there's a lot of stuff that deals 1 damage. This is a card that I kind of wouldn't want to play, but we might have to just because this is our only level 2 card in the deck, and we want to have something to play on the early turns. So this is a definite maybe. For the booster set, there is a level 2 1-cost 2/2 that will probably run instead of this one for our actual CB deck. But now let's look at some of these other ones. So here we have another, this is a Kyrios. This is a level 3 2-cost 2/3, okay stat lines. And during our turn, if we have a CB pilot in play, could be actually linked to this one, this is an additional +2. So this is kind of like a Rezel. So this one's okay. So we're gonna say maybe on this one as well. Next up we have this Gundam Dynamis. This one links with Lock-On. It's a 3-cost, or level 3 2-cost 3/3. Links with one of the pilots we are running. We are definitely running a full 4 of these ones. We also have another level 3 2-cost. This one links with Tyria Aird, and this is a level 3 2-cost 3/3. And if we have a CB pilot in play, this against blocker, also extremely good. All right, so that's a good baseline. I can imagine cutting something like the Kyrios here, and maybe this Kyrios as well. So let's go ahead and take a look at this one. This is a level 5 3-cost 5/4, links with Tyria, no effects. This is the kind of card that I'm probably going to cut from the deck. It's high level, no effect. It's okay stat lines, but it's not really that impactful, and I think we can be doing some better stuff. We might end up putting this back in the deck if we need it, but I feel like we probably won't. And then we also have this Exia. It's a level 4, 2-cost, 4/3, has a link with our pilot. It's a level 4 card. It's not that great, but for this deck, I think it will be fine, just because it links with Setsuna, and it's a decent stat line here. All right, so now that we have all the cards, what I'll do is I'm just going to go ahead and count them all, basically with the deck, and we'll see how many cards we need to cut. Generally speaking, you want a decent amount of units in the deck. Most of your deck should be units, so when we cut stuff, it might just end up being pilots, or not pilots, commands. All right, I did not plan that, but that is exactly 50 cards, so we don't need to cut anything at all. Just keep in mind, we are just running Setsuna and Lock-On as the pilots, so you have to keep in mind that we will not have links for this one right here, the Tieria one. And we will not have link for the Alleluia ones as well. But I think this is a really, really good start. These are the pilots you're probably going to be running in the competitive version of this deck. And this gives you a lot of great options. It gives you card draw and a lot of synergy. So this is where I would personally start with this. I can see you maybe, fiddling around with some of the numbers, maybe adding in 2 more pilots. So for example, maybe you want to, I think this one's really good. Cut one of these low drop cards, like maybe this Kyrios or something like that, and then add in Tieria or one of the other ones. I think that could be a decent way to go. So you can think about adding in a couple more pilots. I think generally speaking, 8 to 10 pilots is fine. This deck has close to 30 units, which I also think is pretty good. So out of the extra cards that we have, things that you might consider would simply just be like, do you want to run either of these pilots as well? Like I said, probably not. And personally speaking, I like Mr. Alleluia more. But yeah, if you were like, oh, do I really want to add the pilots in? Yeah, I would probably cut. Ooh, this is tough. One of those level 3s or lower. I'm not a huge fan of this one. Maybe that one. Put these in. It's a little greedy not having the level 2 plays. We do have our base at least, but yeah, that's kind of where I would be with that. So that is the CB deck, and I think this will be a pretty decent deck right off the bat. All right, next we have the Flash of Radiance deck. Now this is going to be a lot more difficult to make into a good deck, because like I said, we have 2 very distinct strategies at work here, and I think they don't gel all that well together. So let's go ahead and remove the foil cards. We'll not be needing these. And then we'll go ahead and sort these by units and commands as I said before. Once again, the same kind of things apply. We want 8 to 12 pilots. This one will be easy. We'll just be running 8 pilots. Though this one actually does have a command pilot. Words for Hathaway is also Gammon Nobile. So we might run more pilots in this deck, just because we have our command pilot as well. And some of the command cards we have, I just think are just not good. So there's a bunch that we're just gonna not run because I think they're quite bad. Like her in particular. So we have our pilots, and then we have all of. Oh, we have these more command cards. Okay, cool. So we have the Siege Ploy and the Lady Luck. I put them in different piles for some reason. All right, so this one, like I said, is going to be a little bit more complicated. Let's start with the pilots. I think there's some slam dunks here. 4 of Lane Aim and 4 of Hathaway. And then we have the Words for Hathaway. So we'll go ahead and set these off to the side. Words for Hathaway says choose a friendly link unit against Breach 1. I think this is actually not bad. So we'll consider running 2 of them. He's also Mafty, which is a good consideration for the rest of the deck. So we can think of these 10 as kind of like our baseline. We want stuff that works with Hathaway, and we want stuff that works with Lane Aim. Lane Aim is Earth Federation. Mafty is a new type, or Hathaway is a Mafty and a new type, and he cares about Mafty. Lane Aim cares about card draw. I think Lady Luck is just really not a good card, and I personally wouldn't run any of these. So we're going to try to build a deck without running any of those. Siege Ploy, level 3 1 cost burst, activate its main, choose one enemy unit 5 or less HP and rest it. I think this is pretty solid. We'll run the full 4 of this in the deck for now, but it's not, we'll just run it for now. It's okay. For the bases, we actually have a couple different bases to choose from here. We have the Valiant. This one says choose one of our units, gets plus 2 AP during the turn. That's actually not bad. And then we also have the Devour, which I think is really good. We can pay 2 and choose one of our units and it recovers 2 HP. I think the Devour is extremely good. So I'm going to put 4 of the Devour, and let's do, I think we'll do 3 and 2 for this deck. I think we actually might want the extra plus 2 AP that the Valiant gives us. So I think it's a decent option there. So we'll have a little bit more bases in the previous deck. So I think this is going to be our baseline here as we go into the actual deck. So we'll set that aside, and then let's sort out the units. Obviously, for the units, we're going to want to, focus on our LRs, so the best cards that we have. Though there's some other ones that I really, really like in this deck, and there are some that I really, really don't like that I think are quite bad. So we'll talk about those. This one I think is not good at all. All right, so we have a couple different options for this one. More options, I should say, for units. But I think it'll be a little bit easier to cut cards from this one, because there's some that I think are just, you really shouldn't run them. So the first one is this one. I think it's just really not good. It's a level 1 cost 0/1. On deploy, you choose a rested enemy unit that's 2 or lower, and it can't be set as active during your opponent's next turn. So basically freezes something small for 1 turn, but it's also a 0/1. It's just going to sit around and do nothing. You can kind of combo it with our base to give it plus 2, so you can actually trade into something with it, but man, by itself, this card is bad, and it's just going to eat up slots on your board. I think this is one that we should just not run at all. Now let's look at our other low-cost cards. We have a bunch of level 5s, and then we have some 4s and 3s and 2s. So for the 2, I think we're just going to run a full 4 of. I think this card's great. It's a level 2 cost 2/1, and on attack, if it's attacking an enemy unit, it also deals an extra damage to it, and it links with Mafty, which is both of our command cards and Hathaway, so I think this one's a slam dunk 4 of. I think this card I mentioned before is really good. Just super efficient stat lines. Doesn't have any link, but it's just really, really efficient. Level 3 cost 4/3. We're running a full 4 of these in the deck. Next up, we have the Gustav Karl once again. This is another slam dunk. It's just an efficient card. Level 3 cost 3/4. No link, but still quite good. A full 4 of those. And now it comes down to what are we going to cut? So here we have the Messer Type F Naked. We might just have to run all of these. So this is a level 4 cost 4/3 with Mafty link. This links with Hathaway. I think this is fine, but not exciting. I think the Sea Gundam is really nice. Level 5, 4 cost 4/4, links with Hathaway, and also shoots anything for 1 on deploy. I think this is a pretty good card. We also have this Penelope. Level 5, 3 cost 5/4, links with lane aim, but no effects. I'm not excited to play this one. I'm going to put a 2 there for now and see how we look. And then, of course, we have the Sea Gundam, a huge level 9, 8 cost, but it's reduced in cost and level by all of our opponent stuff. This card's really solid, and we're going to be running it as a 4 of. And then I think probably the best LR from this deck, or the better of the LRs, is the Penelope, which is really nice. If this unit is attacking enemy player, you can reveal an Earth Federation card from our hand, and then return to the bottom of our deck and draw 2. Unfortunately, we don't have a ton of Earth Federation units. We just have this Penelope and this Gustav Karl. The rest are Mafty, which is why this deck has this disparity between it. We could choose to run more Penelopes, but it's going to gunk up our hand, and I think generally speaking the Z Gundam is better. And then we could choose to run this thing, but man, this thing sucks. So I'm not gonna make our deck worse just to have this effect slightly hit more often. And this one does say, let's see, units attacking enemy player reveal 1 Earth Federation unit card, so it does have to be a unit card. So let's go ahead and compile these up and see what the deck number is at. Once again, we want like, I would say 25 to 30 units, and then all of the other types as mentioned as I drop some cards. All right, let's count these. All right, so this deck has 49 cards, and we have a couple options. I think we can add in another Penelope here, or we could add in another copy of Words for Hathaway. We have 30 units right now, which I think is pretty solid. How many Mafty links do we have? This one links with Hathaway, so we have 8. We have 8 Mafty links. This guy's Mafty, so this could give us a link potential. Or we could add in another base. We could add in like another Valiant. Personally speaking, I think 5 bases is good enough. I would add in another Penelope, or add in another. I mean, the Valiant's okay. I'm really thinking these. These are technically the options I have. I would not put in this command. I don't think it's very good at all. And same with that level 1 dude. He's not very good at all. I wouldn't add in either of those. I think these are the best options to add in. Personally speaking, I would go for this. I tend to go for a higher amount of pilots in the deck, especially like I said, if they have command sides. And I think this is pretty good, giving breach. It only does it to link units, but this also gives us more opportunities to link as well. So yeah, this is what I would go for the Flash of Radiance deck. But like I said, it does have a clear split between cards that care about Earth Federation and cards that care about Mafty. And to make this fully functional, I think you would definitely need cards from the booster set to go all in either way. I think the mix here is what makes the deck not as good at all. But if you like, the Hathaway movies and you just want a deck to play with, this is fine. Getting 2 of these and putting them together, I think this would be like okay, but it's definitely not as strong as the CB deck here. I think the CB deck is going to be quite good. And generally speaking, I think the CB deck will give you a really, really nice start into playing the Gundam card game. Upgrading this with cards from the next booster set, Steel Requiem Booster Set 3, which is coming out this week actually, will help make this deck actually like one of the best decks out there. So this is a great start. Highly, highly recommend this. Hopefully this video was helpful to you. Remember the ratios here, I would say once again, about 25 to 30 units. Then we have, I would say 8 to 12 pilots, depending on what you're going on. This deck is only running 8 here. This deck is running 11. And then we have, a handful of command cards, and then 4 to 6 to 8 bases, and then the rest command cards. This deck has 10 command cards. So it's all up to your build, but generally speaking, do not go low on units unless you have a very, very, very good reason. I would say, once again, 25 to 30 is generally what you want to do. And then pilots, once again, 8 to 12-ish, depending on what you got going on. Like I said, we have 4 actual pilots, and this one has, we have 8 actual pilots, and this one also has the command one. So, yeah, I hope this was helpful to you, or at least entertaining. Thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate you for being here and checking out the Gundam card game content. If you're brand new to the game, let me know which deck you ended up going with, or if you ended up going with something else. Currently, these are pretty affordable and widely available, even at like big box stores. So if you can pick a couple of these up, I think it's a great way to start playing. More so the 00 Celestial Drive deck, but yeah. So now, in my own time, I'm going to go ahead and sleeve these decks up and have these with play. So thank you so much for watching, everyone.